A webhook is a way for one application to automatically send real-time data to another application whenever something specific happens. Think of it as an instant notification system between different software services. When you order something online and instantly get a confirmation email, that's often a webhook in action. The shopping website didn't manually send you that email. Instead, the moment you clicked buy, their system automatically triggered a webhook that told their email service to send you a confirmation. You encounter webhooks constantly without realizing it. Your bank sends you a text when someone uses your card. Maybe Slack notifies you when someone mentions you, or your calendar app updates across all your devices simultaneously. These are all webhooks working behind the scenes. The key difference between webhooks and regular API calls is direction and timing. With traditional APIs, you have to constantly ask, did anything happen yet? With webhooks, the service tells you immediately when something actually happens. You don't waste time checking for updates that might not exist. And webhooks solve a fundamental problem in software integration: how to keep different systems synchronized without constantly polling for changes. They're the reason that modern apps feel so responsive and interconnected. Understanding webhooks becomes simple with a restaurant comparison. So imagine you're at a busy restaurant waiting for your table. You have two options. Option one, you walk up to the host every 5 minutes asking, is my table ready yet? This is going to be exhausting for you and annoying for the restaurant staff. So in programming, this constant checking is called polling, and it wastes resources on both sides. So option two, you give the host your phone number and they text you the moment your table is ready. You can relax, you can do other things, and you'll know instantly when it's time. And this is exactly how webhooks work. Your phone number is like a webhook URL. It's the address where notifications get sent. The restaurant's text message is the webhook payload, the actual data being delivered. And the moment your table becomes available is the trigger event. So just like the restaurant doesn't need to know what you'll do when you get the text, the sending application doesn't care how you process the webhook data. It just delivers the information and then moves on. So this separation makes webhooks incredibly flexible and efficient for connecting different systems. Webhooks operate through a simple four-step process that happens in milliseconds. So first, you provide a URL endpoint to the service you want to receive data from. This URL is like your application's phone number, where it's where incoming data will arrive. When a specific event occurs in that service, it packages relevant data into what's called a payload. This payload is typically formatted as JSON, which is just structured text that computers and humans can easily read. The service then sends this payload as an HTTP post request to your URL. Your automation platform receives this post request and can immediately process the data. Maybe you update a spreadsheet, send an email, or trigger another action. The beauty is that this happens instantly without you having to ask for updates. With tools like NAN, you don't need to even understand the technical details. You simply create a webhook node, copy the URL it generates, and paste it into whatever service you're connecting. NAN handles all the complex parts automatically. The webhook appears in your workflow as soon as data arrives, ready for you to connect to other services with visual connectors. The entire process typically takes less than a second from event to action, making your automations feel seamlessly connected. Every webhook delivers data in a specific format that you need to understand. So as I mentioned, the payload usually arrives as a JSON object containing several key components. You'll typically see an event type field that tells you what happened, often a timestamp showing exactly when it occurred and the actual data related to that event. A payment webhook might include a transaction ID, maybe an amount, maybe currency, customer details, payment status. An email webhook could contain the recipient address, a subject line, open timestamp, and maybe some click data. Each service structures their payloads differently, but they follow similar patterns. In NAN, you can see exactly what data arrives by clicking on a webhook node after it receives data. The platform displays every field in an easy-to-read format, letting you click on each piece of information to use it in your workflow. And you don't need to decode anything. NAN is going to present that data visually for you. So most webhooks include security features like signatures or secret keys. These verify the webhook actually came from the expected source. N8N can automatically handle these for many popular services, adding security without extra configuration on your part. Understanding what data you'll receive helps you design better automations that use every piece of information effectively. E-commerce platforms use webhooks extensively. When a customer places an order on Shopify, webhooks can simultaneously update inventory in your warehouse system. Maybe they create a shipping label with your courier company, and they might add the customer to an email marketing list. And they'll also log the sale with maybe your accounting software. All of this happens automatically within seconds. Payment processors like Stripe and PayPal send webhooks for every transaction event. You'll receive notifications when payments succeed, fail, or just need additional authentication. This lets you update order statuses, send receipts, handle failed payments without constantly checking payment statuses. GitHub sends webhooks whenever code changes occur. So you push a commit, webhooks can trigger automated tests, deploy code to different servers, or notify team members. This automation powers modern continuous integration workflows from services like Typeform or Google Forms. They use webhooks to send your submission data directly to your CRM or to a spreadsheet or a database. Customer support tickets from Zendesk, for example, could create tasks in a project management tool. Calendar bookings can generate invoices. The combinations are pretty much endless because webhooks provide the glue between specialized services, letting you build powerful workflows without having to write complex integration code. Creating a webhook in N8N takes less than a minute. Open a new workflow, drag the webhook node from the sidebar. As soon as you add it, N8N actually generates a unique URL for you. This is your webhook endpoint. You don't have to do any server setup or configuration. You just click on the webhook node to see your URL, and you'll find two options. There's a test URL and a production URL. Always start with the test URL, copy this URL and paste it into whatever service you want to receive data from. Most services will have this option in their settings, maybe under webhooks or integrations or developer settings, something like that. And then you want to select which events you want to receive. Start with just one to keep things simple. Save the webhook in the external service, then switch back to N8N. Click listen for test event and trigger an action in the other service. Within seconds, you'll see the data appear in N8N. This incoming data displays in a clear, organized view. You can immediately connect this webhook to other nodes. You can send emails, you can update databases, post to Slack, or hundreds of other actions. N8N will show you exactly what data is available and lets you map it visually to your other services. Webhooks aren't perfect for every situation. They require your automation platform to be constantly available. So if N8N is what you're using and it goes offline, you might miss notifications. The cloud version of N8N will handle this reliably for you, but self-hosted instances are going to need proper monitoring. Processing webhooks should be fast. Services typically expect responses within a few seconds or milliseconds. In N8N, you want to keep your initial webhook response simple. Acknowledge receipt quickly, then handle whatever complex processing in subsequent nodes. Just use the respond to webhook node for custom responses when needed. Webhooks can arrive out of order or get duplicated, so your workflows need to handle receiving the same webhook data twice. N8N's built-in features like remove duplicates node or conditional logic help manage those scenarios without complex configuration. Always use production webhook URLs for live data. Test URLs in N8N expire after a period of activity. And the other thing you want to do is document your webhooks clearly using N8N's sticky notes feature so that you remember what each workflow does months later. Remember that webhooks are kind of fire and forget from the sender's perspective. So you want to design your workflows to handle errors gracefully using error workflows and always test thoroughly before going live.